Hi friends, it's Danielle with Take Care Mama. Today I have another ADHD video for you, and I'm exploring kind of choices in schooling and our specific experience within the public school system. Stay tuned to the end because there is a giveaway tied to this, so I will talk about that at the end. I have a couple fidgets to give away with a great company, and also this is a continuation of my collab with Tanya from Project Happy Home. Check out her video, which will be linked below. She homeschools her 3 children, her eldest having ADHD. And so she just has a whole other perspective and experience than me. And I think that's beautiful. I guess before we begin, I just quickly want to mention maybe the obvious fact that it's such a privilege to have these choices. And a lot of people are kind of just stuck with what's in their neighborhood in front of them, and sometimes that's not the best situation for their children. So I just wanted to recognize that I just feel so blessed, and I'm sure Tanya does as well, to be able to make specific choices to better our children. When James was about 3, I signed him up for a very fancy accredited Montessori school. It was beautiful and magical and amazing, and it was very expensive. It was a mortgage payment basically. Our first year we really loved it, and I was working full-time, my husband was working full-time, James was an only child. We didn't really think we were going to have more children, which changed later. So kind of in our mind was, we've already budgeted for private school, we'll probably just always do private school. We thought because we could afford it, we wanted to give him the best education possible, and in our mind that meant the private school route. I went to private high school and a private college, and that's kind of just where our mindset was at the time. James started having more issues as we got into the second year of the school, and we had a lot of complaints, a lot of meetings, a lot of tears. We ended up we weren't kicked out of the school, but we would have been eventually. It was a mutual decision that we should move on to something different. And I think I have a whole video going through this whole story. So after that, I think we went to 2 or 3 more daycares, private. Most daycares are private, and a lot of money. And again, we got either kicked out or sent home. Once a week I would get a call in the middle of the day asking me to leave work and to pick up James. And we were just feeling stuck. The Montessori where we were at was such a great place. Of all the places we went to, I really trusted them the most. They all had their master's degrees. And when we first went to tour, I was a little apprehensive because even back then I knew James was a little more hyper than most children, and the teachers assured me that the Montessori system was for every child. And, they didn't expect the children to fit into their world, but they adapted to each children's individual needs and interests, and that this was going to be great. And then we kind of got kicked out. And so that was just such a crisis for me. I'm spending money on the best education, the best care, and we're getting told we don't belong here. And that was just a whole rabbit hole of depression and anxiety for me, and just a really dark time in our family. Luckily, the Montessori gave us some resources to look into, and actually, even though he was only 3, our public school district was able to send someone to kind of observe him, and this is the start of how we got him on the IEP. And so that is when we actually really started getting some good help, and it was through our public school system. And again, that was just a little surprising to me, to the naive me who didn't know anything, that I actually received the most help from our public school system that was like a free service to me for being part of the community, and obviously we pay taxes, versus a lot of money I was paying per month for private care. And then around this time, I was just exploring everything, like all the options. And that's actually when I reached out to Tanya. I had been watching her videos for a few months as this was happening. And I reached out because I thought maybe homeschool is the answer. I knew that that was the answer for Tanya and her family, and so many others really find that the flexibility of homeschool helps their ADHD children. And you guys, she like told me to call her. She had no idea who I was. I had a channel, but like 50 subscribers at the time. And she just talked me through it and talked about her experience. And that was just so helpful. And it was so important for me to feel seen by someone who understood, because it's very lonely to go through this whole thing. And if you're watching this, you most likely know exactly what I'm talking about. And so we looked at that, like maybe I'll quit my job and I'll figure it out and I'll homeschool him. So that was something else that we considered. And I really did a lot of soul searching for that, and just kind of realized that I don't think that I personally have the patience, personality, passion to homeschool. Like I just spent a lot of time thinking about it and knew that it wasn't a choice for me. And so then we were kind of set with our public school. And like I said, we had already received some help from them. It was slow, as in it took a lot of time to get approved, a lot of paperwork, a lot of meetings, a lot of interviews, a lot of paperwork. I said that again on purpose. And we started receiving, I think a couple days a week. He went to a public preschool through the district and started really receiving like therapy in the classroom on strategies on calming. And that's when I was introduced to conscious discipline, which is amazing. And my world was open to different techniques and different language to use. And that's just really, I feel like when our story started turning around from, oh my goodness, we're going down, we're gonna crash, like what is going on, to floating back in the air, like coasting, like we're gonna figure this out together. And through the services offered to us in the public school system, we were going to figure this out. Like no one's dying. He's a wonderful boy, and we are going to figure this out for our family. And so we decided when he started kindergarten that we were gonna go right into the public school in our neighborhood. He just finished second grade. We have had such a wonderful experience in our public school. I feel so fortunate. I feel so supported. We have loved every single one of his teachers. He has that IEP, and so he has special accommodations. He gets calming breaks. He gets special seating. He can have fidgets in his classroom. And we have multiple meetings a year, and no one looks at us like we are different, which is how I felt all the time in the daycare scene. We are just another normal family with a kid who has a brain that's a little different than most of our brains, but he's not the only one. It's nothing they haven't seen before, and they are going to gently support him in order to figure this out. I guess I just wanted to say, like, to stay open, to leave some of your assumptions at the door, because you just never know until you try something out. And even our school district, like I know some of you will say, well, my public school district or my school is terrible. And if you, like, I'm not trying to argue with you, obviously, you're not right in front of me right now, but just to be open, because people say that actually about our district. Like, it has such a bad reputation. So stay open. And then another thing that I have learned is to kind of check yourself when you're dealing with people with your son, whether it's the private school teachers, the public school teachers, if you homeschool your children, the coaches, because I think it's so easy for us to be defensive. We have every right to feel that way. We have been through the ringers, and I did make the mistakes early on of being just a little too aggressive in my communications with like the Montessori people and other daycares. I let my feelings get the best of me instead of processing what they said, taking a breath and maybe dealing with it when I was calm. And the fact is, like, I do feel mistreated. I do feel some anger still toward some of the people we've come through in our past. I do not think they handled it well. I do not think it was professional. I do not think it was out of care for children. With that said, I also didn't handle it well. I didn't react to that well, and my reaction only fueled the conflict. That's something I've learned the past 5 years, and so just keep that in the back of your mind maybe if you want to. As promised, this is a fun giveaway. We're giving away 3 of these fidgets. I love this fidget specifically because it is noiseless. Most fidgets are supposed to be really quiet, but not all of them are in practice. So this is just a nice cloth, and you see these lines on the back. There's a marble sewn inside of this, and you kind of just feel it through, and it's a maze, and you push the marble from start to finish of the maze. It's really awesome. This company, talk about advocating for your child. They're Japanese, a husband, wife, 2 kids. Their eldest was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. They couldn't get support anywhere. They moved to the United States to be able to advocate for their son, and through their experience they started a company. So check out their website regardless of whether or not you win. They have great products, and 3 of you are gonna win. See the rules in the description box below. Good luck. Be sure to check out Tanya's video. I'm so excited to see what she has to say on this, and it's just been so fun to do these videos with her and to learn from her. She is so intelligent, and I admire her so much, and I love when she posts pictures on Instagram of her school day with her 3 children. It's just magical. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye.